Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! My mother and my brother were heading home for Christmas, and while they were waiting in the airport, a man came up to them, and this is how it went. "Ma'am, I will pay you $500 for your Elmo." "No, thank you." "Please, my son really wants this for Christmas, please. I will give you $1,500. "No, this is my son's Elmo, his godfather gave it to him, and I will not let you have it." Mom and brother walk off to find their gate, and the man follows them. "Sir, leave us alone or I will get security." "Please let me have it. I will give you $3,000, just take it. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance for some people." "Listen, my son is going through a heart transplant, and this Elmo is the one little thing that gives him joy while going through this. So will you please just leave us alone?" "Fine." Mom and brother turn around to head to their gate, and the man still follows them, and then she finds a security guard. "Excuse me, but this man has been following us for a long time now. Can you please help us?" "Sure, no problem." The entitled dad realizes what's going on, so he runs up to my brother and he snatches the Elmo out of his arms. "Hey, stop!" the security guard yells. The guard sees this and goes after the entitled dad and detains him. Mom says, "What the hell is wrong with you? You just stole from my sick child. You should have just sold it to me. Oh, get lost and rot in hell." My mother and brother then headed to their plane with security and got home safe, while the other guy was taken by the other guards. I thought I'd share an anecdote from the year 2000, which still gets many laughs at gatherings. We were taking a vacation in the UK when we came across a restaurant/pub with a penchant for hot spicy food. On a side table, they had a collection of hot sauces you could order or just add to your food. While we were sitting, eating, and chatting, a kid of about 10 to 12 with a strong American accent approached the sauce table and asked the server to try one of the sauces. Something with a scary, ungodly name. I think he was attracted by the name and the totally metal artwork. The sauce is extremely strong, and he wouldn't want him to get hurt. The kid starts insisting. The server cannot even reply before from one of the nearby tables comes in. "Excuse me," in the same accent the kid was using. A very overweight but not obese woman swivels on her chair and approaches the scene while saying, "It's a custom here to refuse service to paying customers." Those were her exact words. The guy replies that he's sorry, he was only concerned for the kid. Mother says that he doesn't need to concern himself with other people's children, and that her son likes spicy food anyway. The poor guy tries again to explain that the sauce, I swear, I remember the name until 5 minutes ago. He tells her that it's not merely spicy, but the mom cuts him off with a "Fine, I'll have a taste then. You won't object to that." He says of course not, and even hands himself a sample stick dipped in the sauce to her. They return to their table, and the server returns to his job. Hardly 10 seconds go by, and the kid lets out a prolonged wail, starts coughing and crying, and generally acts like a kid in severe pain. Yes, the mom had handed him the stick from hell without even tasting it. But that's not the best part. She then starts to scream bloody murder, calling for the manager, security, the police, and maybe the UN and a couple of saints to join in. She makes such a fuss that after most servers and the manager get there, 2 policemen who were just passing by arrived. In the chaos, she's accusing the server of maliciously giving her son the stupidly hot sauce because he didn't like him, and that he told them he hated them because they were Americans. The guy was panicked and was getting too apologetic to actually defend himself, but the manager was quicker on his wits and managed to get the server, the mother, and a policeman to follow him to the office, because it turns out there were security cameras. Now, we were done eating, but we wouldn't have missed the conclusion even if they had paid for our meal. So we waited a bit. Something like 10 to 15 minutes go by, The kids seem to calm down eventually, presumably a lesson learned. Suddenly, there is a commotion from the back. The mother is carried out and away by the policeman, while she's in a full tantrum, kicking and screaming, and demanding to cool her empathy and whatnot. The poor man, who I assume was her husband, gets on his feet and tries to calm her down and to understand what's happening. The two policemen explain that after reviewing the tape, she grabbed that very VHS tape. Yes, they were using VHS from the office desk, and she smashed it on one of the policemen's head, who had simply asked her why did she lie about something that serious. I then noticed one of them had a bump/scratch on the side of his forehead, and thus she was being arrested. Or detained. I'm not from the UK and don't remember exactly. Just how stupidly entitled can you be to smash a cop on the head was the very evidence of you lying to them. This morning when my dad was taking our dog, a 78-kilogram Saint Bernard, for a walk, she pulled on the leash and caused my dad to slip and fall on his ribcage. From the way he walked and the grunt of pain he was showing, I immediately made an appointment at the GP. Edit. GP stands for General Practitioner. It is basically a family doctor. Now my dad is 54-year-old amateur athlete with an insanely high pain tolerance. He once drilled into his hand, only to put a band-aid on it and proceed drilling without so much as making a noise. If he's showing pain, it is usually an injury most people will go to the ER for. Our appointment was at 12:30. Since I made it at the last minute, we only had 10 minutes at the GP. We sat down in the waiting room. At about 12:27, the entitled mom arrives. She's somewhat older lady but has no kid with her, thus no alarms go off in my head. Just yet. About 7 or 8 minutes pass, and the entitled mother starts making annoyed comments about the waiting time to other people in the waiting room. At exactly 12:40, the GP's room door opens, and before the GP can even call our name, the entitled mother walks into the hallway connecting the waiting room and the GP's room, and she starts talking to the GP.
Finally, it's my turn. I've been waiting for so long.
Oh, sorry, but it's not your turn yet. Mr. X, me and my dad, I'm ready to see you now. She's been our GP for years and knows us by name. Me and my dad stand up and I support him on the way to the GP's room.
No, it's 12:40, which means it's my turn because I had my appointment at 12:40. I have a sick daughter at home who needs medicine.
So, you went to the GP without your daughter? Do you understand that that's not how it works? GP is still explaining things to the entitled mother when me and my dad finally come around the corner. GP sees us and her eyes widen instantly as she sees my dad struggling to walk/stand. She instantly comes to support him. As we pass the entitled mother, she says,
"He's obviously faking it. He was just fine while sitting in the waiting room."
Me, with an awkward smile, trying to defuse the situation. Actually, my father was pretty uncomfortable in the waiting room. He's just not the time to show pain to other people. GP backing me up. I've known this man for a long time and I've never seen him show so much pain in front of others. He is not faking it. The entitled mother's face goes from lightly flustered to extreme anger.
That's not true. He's obviously faking it so he doesn't have to wait longer. I should go first. I have a sick daughter at home and I had my appointment at 12:40, not them.
The entitled mother keeps shouting out for about a minute when the GP interrupts her. Stop. They made their appointment before you did. If you wanted to have a chance of going before them, you could have at least asked nicely. This man is in pain and needs to be checked. Back off. The entitled mother's face goes bright red and starts throwing insults at us before charging at my dad. Now, I'm no big guy. I'm only 178 centimeters and 63 kilograms. And to be honest, I'm not too protective of my family either, but so much as dare to charge at a wounded man, and you're asking for me to step in. I stop the entitled mother with my arms and she starts shouting,
"Someone help! I am being assaulted by a teenager!"
My dad's still kinda confused as what is happening. he just shouts, "Enough!" loud enough to scare the entitled mother enough into backing off. My dad and GP move into the room while I check to see if the entitled mother tries to pull any more stunts. Luckily, she didn't. Instead, she tried to act as if nothing happened and walked towards the exit. But before she got there, two construction workers who overheard the entire thing stopped her and detained her until the police arrived. Apparently, one of the receptionists called the police when she started screaming at my dad and the GP. After my dad finished, the police arrived and asked him if he wanted to press charges for attempted assault. And he responded with yes. For those of you wondering, yes, my dad is okay. He bruised two of his ribs and is currently engaged in one of the best sleeps he will ever have thanks to the prescribed painkillers. Thank you for listening. To make a long story short, this guy who lived around the block from us in Oxford, UK, robbed our apartment. He openly bragged about it in the pubs, so there was no doubt about it. He had an old-fashioned baker's bike, a big old metal monstrosity with an enormous basket on the front for the bread, and had some delivery gig going on. He locked it to the steel railings outside his house every night. My friend and roommate Neville was a welder, so he went over to the perp's place at 3 a.m. and cut his bike in half, welded it back together only upside down, and then welded it onto the railings via the chain he used to lock the bike. This happened a very long time ago, but it was one of the highlights of middle school experience. Let me set the scene. This was back when I was in the 8th grade and I was in this tight friend group of people, and I've been best friends with these people for 4 years. To understand the whole story, we have to go back 2 years, when I was in the 6th grade. All fake names, by the way. This friend group had 6 people, not including me, being Jennifer, Sarah, Nicole, Tara, Robert, Eric. Sorry for the names, I couldn't think of any. We all were friends for at least 3 years by now, and during this time was when someone new transferred to our school, and her name was Claudia, and she sat next to me because of alphabetical seating. Me and Claudia started talking and we became friends, and I introduced her to my group of friends, and Claudia didn't really join our friend group because throughout this year, she was trying to be popular by befriending all the popular groups of people, and later I found out that she only talked to me because I was friends with a few popular people. I by no means was popular, but I was a talkative person. Claudia ended up being rejected by these popular groups and ended up trying to befriend my friends and me again, but this time around, she specifically took attention to my friend Sarah, and I guess I didn't notice until my friend Sarah told me she was uncomfortable. By the way, Claudia was acting towards her, so I started to distance myself from her and we just stayed class friends because I really thought she was a good person and she was just trying to make friends. Fast forward to 10th grade, and me and my friend group were all still friends until halfway through the year when all stopped being friends and started distancing ourselves, and I was really the one who felt left behind because they found new groups, but I really was used to our friend group and didn't like the change. This was my fault on my part. I will admit, I got clingy because I really couldn't accept that we weren't going to stay friends, and I felt alone, and this led to me being depressed for a very long time. And this by no means was their fault, but it's part of the story. During this time, Claudia was still my friend, and I chose to confide in her, and she saw how depressed I was, and she saw it as the best time to replace me in my friend group. And she chose this by exposing me as pansexual. We were in a conservative city. Well, she exposed me to my friends and other people, and then started to start rumors about me, and started to tell my friends I was talking crap about them, and telling them that I was crazy when in reality I was going to therapy for my depression, and I was just trying to get better. This went on for a few months until she blatantly told my whole class and in front of me how I was a fake female dog and how I deserved to die. This was when I realized how I really thought she was my friend, while in reality she didn't care about me at all. And you know what? I chose to channel my inner demons and made myself the promise that I'd get my revenge. First, Claudia had the tendency to talk crap about people in our school to me, and so for the next half months I acted like nothing happened. And I was still friends with her. I started collecting screenshots and recording of her saying all this and her admitting to things she did to other people. Then, on a fateful sunny spring day, I planted the seed of doubt about Claudia by telling one of these popular kids she was trying to be friends with that she was talking badly about her. This girl was a gossiper and started talking about it. When she wasn't around, the gossiping girl told other girls in our class, and that's when I let it all rip. And I started talking and showing them what she has been saying. And my ex-friends, even though we weren't friends anymore like before, believed me because they became friends with someone else, and Claudia chose to talk badly about them to their group. Then I started getting text messages, screenshots from other people about Claudia. I made an anonymous social media account and started posting the screenshots and recordings and personally messaged the people she's been talking badly about. Then I got people to talk to the guidance counselor about what she's been doing, and I got people who I knew were people who regularly went to teachers and deans. I got them to talk about what she's been doing in front of or with them. This led to Claudia realizing what was going on, but it was too late. All the people she's been talking badly to and about started to post and tell on her. She ended up being heavily ostracized by our grade and most people at our school because of what she did. She never got punished for what she did. All she did was apologize to my class. It wasn't with full intentions because she did not realize how bad she messed up. She did see the gravity of the whole situation when she realized even after middle school it followed her all the way to high school too. I really just wanted to tell this story to reminisce about how far I've come. I did forgive Claudia for what she did eventually, since she was still a kid, and I hope she's doing well today.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.